I should be able to ease my way up underneath it. Yep. We can work on our rig. You know, if you want to do like a little oil change or a little coilover adjustment. Welcome back to Offroad Outlaws, guys, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how you can use a lot of the new customization tools and features to go a lot more in-depth on a more realistic styled build. Now, what we're going to be using for this build is actually a truck that I have not experimented with since the update at all, and that is a 3rd gen Dodge. Now, what you're seeing on screen right now is obviously a 2nd gen, and this is my fully built 2nd gen drag truck. As you can see, like, everything is done. It's got really wide slicks on it. It's got, like, the whole paint job, the livery done, the wrap is done, like, the leaf springs and the diff covers are painted. There's a giant hood stack on it. There's, like, an LED whip on the back. I mean, this thing has got absolutely everything done to it. But I really, like I said before, I really wanted to dive into a build on a 3rd gen because, like I said, I have not gotten the chance to apply all of these new features of the update to a 3rd gen Dodge yet, and I really think that it's going to allow me to build something that's, like, way more interesting than we've been able to do with these 3rd gens before. Because keep in mind, this truck has been in the game for a really, really long time. This was one of the original trucks. But what's really cool about this is that the update has allowed us to breathe so much new life into even the trucks that the game originally started with. Now, let's go ahead and get straight into the build. I'm going to go into the upgrades, and we're going to do all the power mods first. That way we don't have to worry about any of this stuff needing to be done later. So we're going to do a diesel swap, of course, and the e-brake is going to go ahead and get installed as well because obviously, you know, we're going to need that, or at least we're going to want it. And then turbo tuning wise is going to go all the way up, and apparently I didn't do my durability, but I definitely am going to need to do the durability upgrades. Now, just because I'm not particularly a fan of that color, at least as of right now, I'm going to go ahead and just switch up the color real quick. I'm just going to make it a nice, like, we'll do, like, I don't know, like matte whitish gray, and we'll just let that be for the time being. Obviously, that's not going to be the final color. I mean, it may be, but it probably won't be. I've got a couple of other colors in mind. But now into the tuning, I think what we're going to run with on this truck is I've got a couple of different settings in mind, or at least a couple of different setups in mind. We can either do a lifted dually, or we could even do like kind of a lowered dually, and I may do a lowered dually build in the future, but I think for this one, it's going to be a moderately lifted dually, and suspension-wise, we're going to probably start with a solid axle pro, and I think we may even go heavy-duty with it. So let's go ahead and go to a heavy-duty solid axle pro, and there we go, solid axle pro heavy duty in the back. Now all of that is good to go and install. What the heck? The front one didn't adjust, like at all. There we go. There's solid axle pro. Okay, so I guess I didn't fully install it the first time. That's a little bit weird. So now let's go into our suspension tuning and we'll max everything out. So get everything maxed all the way up. And then this is where the options start to get a little bit more interesting. Now, obviously, we haven't gotten into the new stuff yet, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a very quick baseline setup on this, about like 3K on the damping front and back. And I'm not really going to mess too much with the travel and the stiffness. I'm going to give it like sort of a kind of a middle of the road setting. As far as stiffness goes, I'm going to set the back at like 30 because I want this truck to be able to tow trailers. And the front is just going to be matched to the rear's height, but it's going to be matched by way of travel rather than stiffness. So we'll set it at about 0.43. That should do about right. And then shocks-wise, we'll go with shock set 1, and they will be sized at about 1.6. That looks fairly realistic in terms of the sizing. Now, rear shocks wise are going to be shock 2, and those are going to be about like a 1.8. We'll go with a slightly bigger shock in the back. And then axis width wise, we're going to go with a 0.5, and then in the front, we'll probably go with a 0.5 as well, and that'll give us a nice starting point. It's not anything final, but it's definitely a good starting point. So from here, we can go ahead and upgrade our gearing all the way. And once that's done, we'll go ahead and put a baseline tune on it, 3.2, and then like 2.2, and then we'll do, let's see, probably 1.7, we'll do 1.6, and then 1.3, and then probably 0.8, because I still want it to be able to have a lot of speed in 5th gear. Now, dyno-wise, let's go ahead and do a perfect setup, and then we'll run the dyno, see what we make. Oh boy. There we go. I was like, where's the rev limiter? It's going to come in any moment now. 705 and 1186. You almost don't need to dyno the trucks at this point because we definitely know what they're going to make, but I still like to dyno them just in case. Now, wheels and tires wise, I'm going to get the upgrading for that all said and done so we don't have to think about it. And then now I'm going to go back into the customization and go ahead and make sure that the rear tires are set to dually. So we've got that done, and now I'm going to also apply the dually fenders to the rear. So now that all of that is set and good to go, now I'm going to start focusing on dialing in the sizing of everything. So let's see. Rear suspension-wise, the rear, let's see, axis width is going to be actually just a little bit wider, and in terms of width, let's see, we'll go with like maybe a point, we'll start with 0.7, but then from there, we're going to actually make the rear wheels and tires themselves wider, and you guys will very quickly see how much of an effect that actually has on the setup. So that's up to a 1.2, and it's already a dramatic difference. It's genuinely a massive amount of difference. So that's going to be set for now at a 1.2. I'm going to take the rim size, and we'll push it up to a, do we do a 1.5? We'll do maybe like a 1.4. I don't necessarily want to go like too big on it, but like just big enough. And then we'll do like a 1.2 in the front, and I'm thinking 1.4 in the front as well. Big enough to where you can tell that this truck definitely means business at like a truck meet or a truck show or something like that, but not necessarily so big that it's all wheel and no tire. So back to the customization now, or at least the visual customization. Here's where things start to get pretty interesting in terms of, especially with the new wheels. So a lot of these new wheels, you can beadlock them if you would like. I mean, technically you can beadlock any wheel that you want, but I'm not entirely sure if I want to go the route of a wheel like that or the route of a wheel like this, because what's cool about these wheels is that they can be fully chromed and not even fully chromed, but fully colored, even in terms of like the deep dish portion of the wheel. And I actually wonder, can we do, if I color the bead on this one, is that the whole barrel? Oh, it is the whole barrel. Well, that changes things a little bit. So actually, if we're doing the whole barrel, hold on. Yeah, if we set that to chrome, that completely and totally changes the approach of what we can actually do here, especially from a show truck perspective. I mean, if that's what we're building, dude, this has already, oh God, this has already completely transformed my idea of what we will actually be able to build this truck into, pretty much. So let's see, if we're coming at it from a show truck's perspective, we want a good amount of dish, but we also want a decent amount of, like, you know, wheel face. And I mean, I don't know if those go for what I'm looking for or if these go for what I'm looking for. Let's see. Let me back away from the truck a little bit. I don't know. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. What if we take the face of the wheel and we do the face of the wheel in chrome black? What about... Actually, that's not that bad. That's not that bad. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some people out there that are going to be like, oh my God, that's terrible, that's ugly. But, you know, I'm trying to do things a little bit differently with this build and try a few things that we haven't tried before, just purely to see how it comes out, you know, in the end. So let's go ahead and apply those mods. And then now I'm going to probably bump up the tire size itself just a bit. So wheel radius in the front is going to be like a 1.1. Same for the rear. So we've got this 1.1 going on. And then now, back into the suspension tuning, I'm going to have to lift it a little bit more, but not by much. That's 0.49. And then I want to match it in the back. Now, obviously, travel in the back is going to be a lot less, but that's because we've got the stiffness for it. And then now we can go in and we can mess with the actual visual customization of the truck and add some of the extra things, not only the extra aspects to it that we want, but some of the additional, like, just show truck parts. Now, as far as what we need for that, we're going to start with the body customization, obviously, but there's not necessarily like a dedicated correct starting point. So I think what I might do, how does this thing look in metallic black? Like, fully blacked out metallic black. I mean, that's pretty wild. That's actually a wild contrast with like the chrome black on the wheels themselves. That's pretty gnarly. And honestly, I dig it. I'm starting to feel like we're kind of getting onto something with this truck. So now we need to throw on a couple of things in terms of the visual customization. And then as far as like badging and stuff like that goes, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the C for the Cummins logo right up here on the fender. Let me bring it down just a bit in size. And then once that's where we want it, and let's see, can I move it up there? I'm going to move it right down here and make it just a hair smaller. Not bad. Okay, so that will actually, wait a minute. That's about where I would like it. So right about there. And then we can follow it up. We can follow it up with 3,500. And then that will obviously be mirroring this on the other side as well. So let's ease that into position. I don't know if... Ooh, there we go. There we go. And so now we'll take this one and we'll move it right. Should we be on top or should we be up towards the front? Maybe up towards the front, actually. Move it back down. Good to go. Okay. Now we'll go ahead and flip it onto the other side. Good to go there. And then now that that part is done, we'll go ahead and do TC Customs down there on the rocker panel, because I usually I like to put TC Customs on the rocker panel or right down there at the bottom of the door. And on this one, I would like to make it just a little bit more on the kind of mildly understated side. Like I don't want it to be huge. So we'll do TC Customs down there. And that actually fits really, really nicely with the bottom of the door. I really like how that turned out. Like, I really, really dig how that turned out. So now, do we want to do anything else? Is there anything else that we want to do on here? I almost wonder if we should actually, you know what? I know it's not the actual, Ram logo, but if we throw that right in the middle of the grill, that wouldn't actually be terrible. And you know what? From a distance, it's not you can't entirely tell that it isn't. What the heck? Oh, I was like, you can't entirely tell that it's a different logo, from a long ways off. Now, obviously, if you really, dang it, if you really wanted to get super in-depth with it, you absolutely could, but we're trying to build this thing in such a way that we have a baseline idea of what one of these might be able to look like. So let's go ahead and apply those mods, and then now we'll go back into the customization, and let's see what we have in terms of rear bumpers. We can take the rear bumper off, but I don't know if that's what I'm trying to do. I mean, it definitely suits the show truck vibe, but it's just so flat. You know what I mean? I think I'll do the wraparound bumper. We've already got the dually fenders on there. And then bed type wise, we are not flatbedding this thing. Definitely not. And I like the way it looks with the steps, but I think I want to leave it just really nice and clean looking right there. And then up top, we're going to do just a single LED light bar. Not going to do a snorkel because, again, this is a little bit more of a show build, and I don't necessarily want to mess up that look. And then spare tire-wise, how is that going to look? Oh, dude, that actually looks sick in the bed. That looks really, really good in the bed. Now, does this go where... Bruh, you've got a winch holder right there, and yet you won't put it in? Okay. All right, now as far as exhausts go, we have so many options at this point. We even have the new Zoomy exhaust, and actually, I didn't even intend for this to happen, but that fits really, really well with the design that we have on the truck as it is. Now, do I want to do it that way? Probably not, because I don't necessarily think that it fits the vibe of this build, but... could you do it? Absolutely. I think what fits the vibe of this build is the hood stack, and then we'll go ahead and do the white HIDs up front, and I think we'll also put the rack in the bed, or not even in the bed, in the back window, rather. And then, let's see, do we want the toolbox? I'll take the toolbox. Yeah, the toolbox really ups the functionality of it. Now, if these were Dodge tow mirrors, I would totally throw them on, but they're not, and so it doesn't really suit, again, the idea of what we're going for here. So, let me go ahead and get all of that applied, and then now, bro, this thing, I'm actually really, really liking it. Not only am I really, really liking it, but I really want to take it out for a drive and get some photos of it. Not only do I want to take it out for a drive and get some photos, but like, bro, this could be an incredible rig to use in whatever roleplay scenario you might want to use it in. So let's see. If we go to my current favorite map, Twin Rivers Lake by One Man Wolfpack, you'll very quickly discover that this truck, hopefully, should be right at home in an area like this. And also, I figured why not bring the boat out with it, you know? Because a truck like this, not only can it show up to like a truck meet or a truck show and be like absolutely wild to look at, but I think that it could also, you know, at least do a somewhat fair amount of towing. It's not going to be a over-the-top towing beast, but it's still going to be really good. So let's let it load, and then once it loads, we will be jumping right into it. Oh, I love the way that thing sounds. And actually, you know, it doesn't look that out of place with the setup. I know the setup isn't necessarily going to be to everyone's taste, but I think, you know, for what we were trying to go for here, we definitely achieved it. If we were going for that more like show truck style, I definitely think we achieved our goal. Holy crap, it rips with that gearing too. Holy moly, wow, that is really fast. Oh my god, I am ripping in this thing. Yo, this thing is way faster than it has any right to be. Especially considering the fact that it's also a dually and it's got like a trailer behind it. If that trailer wasn't there, do you have any idea how bonkers fast this truck would be? It would be absolutely off the charts fast. So let me go ahead and brake real quick while we're getting into town, because I don't necessarily want to go too crazy in town. Sheesh, this thing is an absolute maniac. So let's head down to the boat ramp. We'll drop the boat off down there. Obviously, we'll go back and pick it up a little bit later. But let's bring this thing around. Nice and easy. Whoa! Nice and easy. All right, there's the boat ramp. And now, let's see if we can back this thing up onto the boat ramp without getting ourselves into too much trouble. There we go. All right, let's get everything lined up. Nice. Easy. Oh, dude, she's good to go. Absolutely 100% good to go. And now, I'm going to hop out of it for a second, and I'm going to go ahead and take a quick look at what we've built. And you know, I kind of dig it. I didn't know going into this build, I didn't know whether or not I was going to be a big fan of it, but you know what? I really, really like it. And as a matter of fact, oh man, I keep wishing that I could use the photo mode while I'm in, you know, while I'm actually walking around as a character, because like, how cool would that be to be able to like, you know, whip out your phone and take photos of your truck? That would be next level insane. But actually, that's about the angle we were at before. So I'm going to go ahead and take a photo of that, but wow. I'm very okay with how this build turned out. I'm very okay with it. All right, so we went ahead and disconnected the trailer, and now that we've done that, it's even faster. Like, when I say it's even faster, I mean, it is bonkers fast. Let's take it up to the house and see how it looks up there. Oh my god! We almost jumped it all the way across the river. It's that insanely fast. I'm not even gonna worry about using the driveway. I'm gonna go right up the side. Oh boy. Come on, there you go. Dude, this thing is on another level, though. Absolutely on another level. And like, if you're into these show truck style builds, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this thing in the comment section down below. And if you learned anything in terms of, you know, building one of these for yourselves, feel free to use any elements of what we did to this truck on your own truck, or really any of your own builds at all. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and pull it into the shop, pull it into our shop to be exact. And once we pull it in our shop, we're gonna try to get underneath it and see if there's anything, that we can do to, oh god, anything we can do in the way of getting it all serviced and stuff. Back it up. Oh boy. All right, so now, if we hop out, you can see the truck is just chilling out there on the lift, and if I crouch down, I should be able to ease my way up underneath it. Yep. And then from here, we can work on our rig. You know, if you want to do like a little oil change or a little coilover adjustment, you are more than able to do that. Oh my gosh, this definitely makes having a shop right here at the house completely and totally worth it. But look at that. Got your, like, single cab 3500 right there on the lift. Got the freaking American flag right there in the background. Man, this is legit. The new update for Offroad Outlaws just absolutely continues to amaze me. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Hit that like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys next time. Talk to y'all later. Hope y'all enjoyed.